I'm John Hendricks. It's Tuesday, July 21st. Today, economic uncertainty.
Not knowing exactly what's going forward, what they tend to do is not make investments.
How threatened U.S. tariffs are creating concern for Manitoba businesses. Also today, an exhaustive search. How a fifth suspect in alleged string of catalytic converter thefts was apprehended. Plus, joining the ranks.
I'll tell you, they deserved it. They came in the underdog against the underdog.
Which Winnipeg Blue Bomber classes are being inducted into the club's Hall of Fame? Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Hendricks. Marilee is away. U.S. President Donald Trump is planning to impose a new 50% tariff on a number of Canadian goods being exported to the United States. And the threat has the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce voicing concerns about the potential economic fallout. Joining me now live is CTV's Taylor Brock. So Taylor, what kind of impact do they think that these new tariffs would have?
Well, frankly, John, the one predictable part of these tariffs is just how unpredictable the situation's been. The chamber says the tariffs could once again create uncertainty for businesses, workers, and communities on both sides of the border. Everything from wine to cement and even hockey sticks are being slapped with tariffs. This means Americans will have to pay more for Canadian goods, with those extra tariff dollars going straight into the coffers of the U.S. Treasury. Tariffs apply to everything on the American list, regardless of whether it is covered by CUSMA, the Canadian-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. The White House says the new tariffs are in response to Canada's, quote, discriminatory treatment of American products. What they're referring to is the many provinces banning booze from the U.S., which was imposed months ago in response to American tariffs. In a statement, the chamber says that tariffs are taxes that ultimately increase costs and reduce competitiveness and are challenging for businesses to navigate.
When businesses live in a world of uncertainty and not knowing exactly what's going forward, what they tend to do is not make investments. And when you're not making investments in your company, you're not making investments in your people, or you've got additional cost pressures, it makes it challenging for these businesses. And again, that's what they've been thrust back into. And so the sooner that we can kind of get back to the table and have nailed down an agreement on CUSMA, whatever it's going to look like is important. And at the same time, take measures that we're going to be less reliant in the long term.
Meantime, the chamber says it also wants Canadian and provincial governments to work collaboratively with the U.S. to seek a timely resolution to the tariff issue.
Taylor, when will the tariffs go into effect?
Well, John, the White House says that's happening in 30 days. CTV's Jeff Keel spoke with a Manitoba beekeeper today, and he'll have more on how the tariffs are creating negative buzz within that industry. Those details are coming up tonight at 6.
Thanks, Taylor. RCMP south of Winnipeg say they have recovered the body of a young man who drowned in a gravel pit. Police say an 18-year-old Winnipeg man was with some friends at a pit on Sunday, southwest of Grunthal on Road 25 East in the RM of Hanover. The man tried to swim across the pit, making it about halfway before disappearing under the water. RCMP firefighters began searching while Stars Air ambulance flew overhead with spotlights. The Mounties underwater recovery team found his body on Monday afternoon. The investigation is ongoing. Polls close in just under 3 hours in a provincial by-election in northern Manitoba. The riding of the Pas-Kimissac was previously represented by NDP member Amanda Laughlin, who died in March. There are 4 candidates running for the seat, including Jennifer Flett for the NDP, Edna Nabis for the Progressive Conservatives, and Dan Quesnel for the Manitoba Liberal Party. Former Progressive Conservative leadership candidate Wally Doddridge is also in the race, running under the Keystone Party banner. The governing NDP currently hold 33 seats in the Manitoba legislature. The PCs have 20, the Liberals hold 1, and there are 2 independent members. A 32-year-old man is in custody tonight after police say they came across a carjacking in progress late Monday afternoon. It happened near the intersection of Salter Street and Selkirk Avenue shortly before 6 o'clock. Police say a man jumped in front of a vehicle and began assaulting the driver, a man in his 70s, and trying to pull him from his vehicle. That's when patrolling officers happened upon the scene. They chased the suspect down and arrested him. He's charged with robbery and remains in custody. Police say the victim suffered some minor injuries but did not need medical attention. A prominent Winnipeg labor leader has died. The Canadian Union of Public Employees says Gord Delbridge, president of CUPE Local 500, died suddenly on Monday. Details about his death were not shared, but CUPE says he suffered a medical emergency and was surrounded by loved ones when he passed. Delbridge was elected president in 2015. The organization represents workers at the City of Winnipeg, Assiniboine Park Conservancy, and the Winnipeg Humane Society, among others.
He's been a leader not only for the people, but for residents and for our civic services and for fighting for public services to ensure safety and health and safety, you name it. He also sat on our National Executive Board and it means a tremendous amount to many people across Canada.
Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham offered his condolences in a statement, writing in part, "Even when we disagreed, Gord and I could pick up the phone and have an honest, respectful conversation," adding, quote, "His passing is a tremendous loss for CUPE, Manitoba's labor movement, and our entire city. I will miss him." Gord Delbridge was 55 years old. CUPE says the union's work will continue, with their vice president taking over the president's duties until the next scheduled election in late 2027. A fifth suspect wanted in an alleged string of catalytic converter thefts this year has been arrested. Investigators opened a case in May following an uptick of calls related to catalytic converter thefts. Now, between the end of April and early June, police say there were 13 thefts costing more than $20,000. Last week, police arrested 4 people between the ages of 36 and 51 who are now facing theft-related charges. And yesterday, police arrested a 44-year-old male. He's been charged with 2 counts of theft under $5,000 and 2 counts of mischief to property under $5,000. All 5 people have been released on undertakings. None of the charges have been tested in court. Walmart will soon be welcoming back customers to its St. Vital Centre location. The store has been closed since July 6th after police say someone set a fire in the bedding section. Walmart now says that the store will be reopening on Thursday, July 23rd for its regular hours. A 47-year-old man was arrested days after the fire. He faces charges including arson with disregard for human life, possession of incendiary materials, and 2 counts of failure to comply. The 1988 and 1990 Winnipeg Blue Bombers are joining the club's Hall of Fame. The Bombers announced the inductees today. The squads won the Grey Cup in their respective years, marking the 2nd and 3rd titles for the Bombers in 7 seasons. They'll join the 1984 Grey Cup team in the Hall. The teams will be recognized during the September 25th home game against the Toronto Argos and at a gala celebration the next day in support of football in Manitoba. The Hall of Fame started in 1984 to recognize the contributions of players, coaches, and others who have contributed to the team's success over the years. CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast, and it doesn't look like we got a lot of rain like we did yesterday.
No, clear out there, and if you'll notice, a lot cooler. I know a lot of folks aren't necessarily all that fond of those temperatures when they really get hot and when you factor in some humidity, and we've had quite a bit of both over the last couple of weeks, as you well know. Today was the break, but if you like the hotter temperatures, the good news is they return tomorrow and they'll be sticking around for a few days. Quick look at the satellite radar. You can see we have clouds and some light showers passing through the west, including close to Brandon, but then the sky opens up nice and clear right around Winnipeg and the surrounding areas to the west and to the east of the city, only to see those clouds pick up again lightly over the Ontario border. We still have air quality warnings that continue tonight for parts of northern and central Manitoba, but that smoke could make its way into Winnipeg soon. I'll show you when that could happen coming up, but for now, let's take a look through the CTV Live. It is brought to you to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, under that blue sky, it's 20 degrees. With the humidex, it feels like 22. Winds light out of the north-northeast at 10 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity is 59%. Out in traffic on this Tuesday afternoon, a live look at Confusion Corner. Busy in all directions, but moving well there. One crash to let you know about. Now, this was about 45 minutes ago. La Jamodiere at Regent, so a bad spot. That collision was in the northbound curb lane.
A popular Japanese retailer is opening another location here in Winnipeg. We'll show you where and when you can get your hands on some of its iconic fits. Turning to the markets now, and crude oil added $1.86. The loonie slipped under 71 cents U.S. Gold futures closed $60 higher. The TSX jumped 408 points. The Dow Jones gained 385, and the Nasdaq rose 329 points. The City of Winnipeg is looking for a contractor to work on the Louise Bridge Rehabilitation Project. An annual inspection in May of 2025 found serious issues with the structure. A tender for the project notes the work will include structural pier rehabilitation, riverbank stabilization, underwater work, as well as the installation of bridge bearings. The deadline for submission is August 18th. The city intends to award the contract by the end of September, with work starting on the site no later than November 1st. $12.6 million is available for this phase. The Manitoba government is hoping to get money into the hands of flooded-out homeowners faster. It says it's using what's known as a rapid residential assessment model in order to restore people's basements. Now, the model takes into account factors like water depth, basement size, and the level of finishing. The program is specifically geared towards restoration work. Damaged goods are assessed separately. Assistance is capped at $3 million less the deductible, which is $2,500 or 20% of the eligible amount, whichever is greater. You can find more details on the province's website. Popular Japanese retailer Uniqlo is set to open its second store in Winnipeg next month. It opened its first in Polo Park back in May. Its St. Vital Centre location is set to open on August 21st. The brand has planned a weekend of community events to mark the opening, including a drumming performance, some freebies, and special games. Uniqlo has over 2,500 stores worldwide, including 38 in Canada. Ottawa has extended the service contract for its aging submarine fleet. The 6-year extension is worth $1.1 billion. There is also the option to extend the contract for another 12 years. Ottawa is planning to replace the Navy's Victoria-class submarines with subs from German shipbuilder TKMS. TKMS is promising the first delivery by 2032. A record number of Canadians tuned in to watch the FIFA World Cup.
Lamine Yamal, Pedro Porro, Williams, and thundered in for Spain by Ferran Torres!
TSN says there were more than 30 million unique viewers. That works out to roughly 75% of Canada's population. 6.4 million viewers tuned in on Sunday to watch Spain beat Argentina, making it the most watched World Cup final ever in Canada. The tournament attracted a per-game average audience of 1.6 million viewers, which is up more than 50% from 2022. Both TSN and CTV are divisions of Bell Media.
No soldier. I am no priest. I'm just a farmer.
A Hollywood heavyweight is starting an uprising. We've got the details about his new movie coming up next in Spotlight. Colleen Brady has your Spotlight today, and an all-new cast of very animated characters are skating into Winnipeg.
That's right, John. Disney on Ice is back with a brand new show. It's it's bringing characters from Moana 2 and Inside Out 2 to the ice for the first time. In all, you'll see 50 characters from across the Disney universe as they jump, twist, and glide along to your favorite Disney songs. Disney on Ice presents Jump In is set for a series of shows between November 13th and 15th at Canada Life Centre. General sale tickets are available starting next Tuesday through Ticketmaster.
I'm sure families are going to be very excited for that show. A photography exhibition honoring the contributions of Manitoba's Icelandic community ready for viewing in Gimli.
That's right, and it's called Icelandic Winnipeg. It's the brainchild of photographer Signe Thorstensen. The exhibit is on display at the New Iceland Heritage Museum and features photographs that document the presence of Icelandic culture and history throughout Winnipeg.
Is something that came about as we were marking the 150th celebration of Icelandic settlement in Manitoba. We did a bus tour that featured buildings from the West End right to University of Manitoba, and we thought it would be great to sort of document these sites with photographs that people looked at when they attended the Scandinavian Centre.
The photographer says she enjoyed going to Upper Fort Garry, where some Icelandic immigrants passed through when they first arrived in the city, as well as taking photos of old buildings that are still in use. The exhibition runs through August 4th.
Andrew Garfield is stepping way back in time.
That's right, John. It's all part of his new film, The Uprising.
I am no soldier. I am no priest. I'm just a farmer.
Garfield stars as the legendary leader of a rebellion against King Richard II. The film also stars Jamie Bell and Tom Hollander. It hits theaters in September.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It actually looks pretty good.
It does look interesting, yeah.
Yeah, well, film fans, get ready.
That's right. The Toronto International Film Festival has unveiled the majority of its lineup for its 51st edition. It will feature world premieres for Chris Rock's drama Misty Green, as well as Peter Farrelly's Sylvester Stallone film I Play Rocky. More than 60 films will play in the festival's gala and special presentation sections. Organizers previously announced that Being Human, a film about late disability rights activist Judith Human, would open this year's festival. TIFF runs from September 10th to the 20th.
All right, thanks, Colleen.
You're welcome. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with The Big Bang Theory. At 8, catch The Amazing Race Canada. And Password wraps things up at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV. A live look at the Norwood Bridge. Traffic moving steadily in both directions there. The sun is shining, not so hot. It's 20 degrees. It will be a different story starting tomorrow. I'll show you how hot it's going to get coming up.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tributes for Spain's World Cup winning soccer team are pouring in from around the world, including one that's cropped up in a farmer's field. This impressive image is the work of a land artist in Italy who created a 200-meter-long World Cup trophy. It's accompanied by the word España, the Spanish name for Spain.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch forecast. And Colleen, I enjoyed the day today. Nice and cool, just the way I like it.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks do. A lot of folks will say that they like temperatures into the low 20s. Once it starts to creep a little higher, then it gets a little bit more uncomfortable. Well, folks, if you are in that camp, you would have enjoyed today. The winds were lighter too than they were yesterday. If you like the weather a little hotter, well, we're going to turn things up by tomorrow. And then the temperatures are going to stay very warm right through the weekend. They're going to get even into the low 30s before too long. Not tomorrow, but close to it. As for right now, though, I want to show you this. One community that just cannot catch a break is Dauphin, where it is raining heavily right now in that area. Sunny here in Winnipeg. Out to the east and northwestern Ontario, we've got these light clouds trundling down along those north winds. And then, of course, we still have Environment Canada's yellow warnings for air quality for a good swath of northern and central parts of the province. That smoke starting to make its way further south, and we could start to see some smoke making its way into places like Dauphin or Brandon by this evening. That smoke is actually coming from wildfires over northern Alberta, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, or not over Alberta. The fires are burning in Alberta. The smoke is a little higher, and that raises an important question, whether that smoke will remain aloft and come into Manitoba more like haze, or whether it will come closer to the surface, which of course would be more problematic. So we'll see when it arrives. As for Winnipeg, we may start to see smoke move into our city by tomorrow morning. We'll see how that plays out, but otherwise sky conditions tonight will be clear across most of the province. A little bit of light shower activity picking up for our most northern residents of the province. East into northwestern Ontario, the sun returns on Wednesday after a cloudy and cool and windy day today. Temperatures will turn right back up into the upper 20s. The humidex will make it feel in the low 30s. Could see some scattered showers pop up in the afternoon at the height of that daytime heating. Then we get into the evening ahead. Again, not a lot of change. Scattered showers as possible, taking us into Thursday, but otherwise it will be fairly sunny right around the province, and certainly here in the south it will be quite warm again and humid too. For tonight for Winnipeg, we drop down to 14 degrees, mostly clear. The winds light and variable. Tomorrow up to 27 degrees in the sunshine. Winds throughout the day out of the southwest at 15 kilometers an hour. Into the long range we go. It will be a hot and sunny day on Thursday, up to 30 degrees by Friday, 29 with a chance of showers, or really more so the chance of thunderstorms. Then we get to our hot weekend in the city. Now notice those daytime highs, 30, 31 Saturday, Sunday, but also notice those very warm overnight lows, 18, 19 degrees. We're not going to get much relief, so I won't be surprised if we see heat warnings issued later on this week as we get closer to, say, Friday through the weekend. Even on Monday, early next week, that heat is not going to let up. 30 degrees in the sun with a very warm overnight low Monday night of 19 degrees. Our first weather photo takes us out to the boardwalk right along Winnipeg Beach Provincial Park. Very high, those waves look like they were climbing today. That photo is from Pat. And contrast that with the tranquility of beautiful Clearwater Lake. That is just north of the Paw. That photo is from Pam. Email us your photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Skywatch Weather Pick of the Day brought to you by Provivo, Winnipeg's first and only longevity medicine clinic. Redefining health, performance, and aesthetics. Provivo.com.
Well, we've got something for you that you just don't see every day. For this ATM, you'll need more than just a PIN. Well, you'll also need paws, because it's an ATM for dogs. And in this case, ATM stands for Automatic Treat Machine. Pups just have to stand on the pad and it will give them a free snack. This ATM is at the TD Bank on Davie Street in Vancouver. The bank says it's a pilot project and is at just 3 locations in Canada. I think it is a wonderful idea, but I wonder, why don't they have something similar for humans? You know, we could step on the pad and like a candy or something.
I'd like a treat.
Exactly.
But what a clever idea.
Well, we've got a great treat for you. We will be back at 6 o'clock right here on CTV. Hope you can join us then.